Hey guys, in this video we're going to be looking at a user requested sound. So a lot of you guys have been asking to hear leads or watch my process for making lead sounds. And in one of my videos, somebody in particular asked for me to deconstruct how a sound was made inside one of my tracks. And I've gone ahead and remade it. It's not exactly the same as what was in that track. But the sound is essentially there. So it sounds like this. So it's your typical, it's a very, in my opinion, throaty sort of acid sound. So this is what it sounds like. And you hear this sort of sound if you listen to Burnin' Noise or that guy Volcano who's been putting out a few tunes lately. Like I've heard in his track Strange Reality, he uses a sound like this. Avalon and Burnin' Noise used sounds like this in some of their older tunes from back in like 2012, 2013 to 2014. And I believe even the Outsiders occasionally use sounds like this. Obviously it's a very well used sound in the Psytrance. But if I apply it to the Psytrance that I listen to, those guys are definitely making these sorts of sounds. And it's relatively straightforward. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly show you how to make it, and then I'm going to show you how to mess it up and make it your own. And I'm going to show you how to make some macro knobs that allow you to change a bit the sort of sound over time so you can have it evolving. So let's go ahead and initiate the patch. And on the oscillator, we're going to open up and we're going to go to analog, and then under analog, it's acid. So this just comes standard inside of Serum. And if I play a key, we're playing a bit higher in the octave than what I was just before. So I'll just bring that down one octave, and that'll play nice and deep. Cool. All right. So the first thing I'll do is I will maybe set up the envelope to make a bit of movement on the sound as it's played. So I'll go to envelope 2. I'm going to grab envelope 2 and I'm going to chuck it on the wavetable position. So what I'm doing is I'm going to be modulating that with an envelope, okay? So we can put that on there, and we can grab the sustain and pull that down, so we can make it sort of like a pluck. And then you can already hear that you're getting that sort of sound that I had in the last. So you can set that to taste. I think around there is all right. And now in that sound, when you move up to a higher note, it sort of has a bit of a pitch bend. So we'll turn on the portamento and we'll put it around. Let's try 40 to start with, or around there. Cool. And then if we put it up higher, cool. So that's a bit too slow. Around 40 might be. Yeah, that works well. So we've already got the basis of the sound relatively set out. We'll come into the effects and we are going to distort the sound. And I like diode. It's got a really tough sound. And what we can do is we can have it acting post, and we can make it a high pass filter, and we can just have it acting upon that portion of the sound. Cool, and we don't want to clip the master, so we'll bring that down maybe to 50. Cool, all right. Maybe the drive around 63 is good, and I'll just leave the mix. So I'm really driving that distortion because YOLO. And then we've got the EQ, and by the way, I stole that from Sodowick. He always used to say "cause YOLO," so represent the Sodowick. Cool. I'm gonna set up an EQ, and I'm gonna cut anything below, let's say 100 hertz, and then I'm gonna use a high shelf, and I'm gonna push the crispy high And now I don't want to boost, see that's boosting the mid-range and it's getting pretty muddy. I just want the crispiness, so yeah, that's good. So let's take that. And what else did I have? I had a delay going on. Let's go, maybe we'll go 1/8. And we'll go dotted. And we'll use a ping pong delay and we'll filter the ping pong delay. So we'll take, let's take the crispy highs that we just boosted and we'll filter them in the delay, sorry. Cool, so you've just got that crispiness. If I did it lower, you got the duller part of the sound coming through. Maybe around, that's good. Cool. All right, so we've got a delay, we've got an EQ, we've got distortion. You could go nuts. You could put on a reverb as well. I'm not a huge fan of this Serum reverb. I've never had it sound nice, so let's just be disgusted by it. Okay, maybe if it's just really subtly, it's just giving it a little bit of presence. Cool. All right, so we're getting that sound, and that's pretty much exactly what I had in the track. That. And people play melodies with this. You could even arpeggiate it. It doesn't sound that great if you want to arpeggiate it like 1/16. You would want to modify the patch a bit. And obviously get like it stepping nicely and that sort of thing. But I prefer it as like a sort of just playing and letting the reverb wash out, and you've got other sounds playing and all that sort of thing. You can just have it playing, not repetitively, but go nuts with your creativity and see what works for you. Now, these lower notes sound real tough. And if you took that cut off and let through the low end, you got a really nice throaty sound. Maybe that you'd probably want to take the low end out of it if you've got a kick and bass rolling underneath it. But if you were using it in a break or something, just as an effect, you could totally let the low end through. Cool. Now, the other things that I was doing is I did a little macro control to kind of change the sound of it over time. So what you could do is you could take the macro knob and we could assign it to the wavetable position, and we could say when it's at 0 value it's just regular, but if we pulled that all the way up, so if we wanted to squeal a little bit more, we can pull that up and it really pushes it even harder, because what it's doing is that macro knob is basically moving the cutoff position and it's starting it there. So it's starting, not the cutoff, sorry, the wavetable position. So it's starting it up higher. So this wavetable, when it's playing there, the high frequencies are really exaggerated. So down here, because you can see it's like you've got the waveform playing more frequently, which creates a high frequency sound, whereas you've got the waveform playing slower, so it's a low frequency sound. It doesn't have as many things going on. Cool. All right. Well, that adds a nice little squeal to it. And what we could do as well is maybe we could assign that to the drive. And let's... Okay, cool. That's not too exaggerated. So maybe we'll let that stay as it is. And what else could we modulate to make it crazier? Because I don't really have a huge amount of variables, maybe we could try going into here and turning that on to sync and playing around with that and see whether it makes anything interesting happen. That's a bit too much, eh? That's pretty cool. Let's just quickly try something else. Nah, that one doesn't sound very good. Nah, boring. Remap. Whoops. Maybe we could try FM on this sound. We could turn that on, pull the level down, pull it down, a semitone. pretty aggressive. Let's bring it down a bit. It's essentially maybe moving too far away from the original sound, so I'm not going to do that, but that's a little example of how you can go in whichever direction you like with that sort of thing. So that brings me to the conclusion for actually making the sound. Let's go ahead and just show you some other things that you can do with the sound. You can turn on the filter, you could go miscellaneous, you could go formant, and maybe we'll pull the dry wet just a little bit. I'm going to push the formant a lot, I'm going to push the drive, I'm going to push the resonance, and I'm going to play that sound. Cool, so I've just made it vowely, and then if I add a little bit of bit reduction, just made a cool sound effect, so go ahead and use that. And what else was I going to show you? I think that was pretty much everything for this sound in particular. So the last thing, this last section is just going to be me talking, so if you're just here for the sound, go ahead, but I'm going to talk about this sound is quite basic. Sitting down and watching me make it could inspire you to go and make a completely different sound based on some of the things that you saw me doing here. So I really like to make these videos because I really like to watch other people who have made these videos, because when I sit down in front of another YouTuber's video and I watch their how to make this sound video, what I end up making is almost never exactly the same as what they've made, simply because I use it as a moment to get a little bit of inspiration. I'm sitting here, I'm like, oh man, I'm a little bit uninspired for what sound I could put in my track. Let's go over to Dash's channel, for example. Shout out to Dash. And I'll have a look at some of his sound design tutorials, and I'll be like, shit, that technique that he used was really cool. I'm going to go and do that on a completely different sound. So maybe he's been using different waveforms and his envelope settings are very different. So I'm going to change my waveforms. I'm going to have different envelope settings, but I'm going to use the other technique that he used. I saw him the other day use the sync option, and that is really cool on some sounds. So you guys take inspiration from merely watching the video. Don't necessarily copy exactly what I do, but this is going to give you a little bit of an insight into just simply how you design sounds. And as I continue to show you more videos on sound design within Serum, I'm going to try and incorporate as many features to make as complicated sounds as possible, but showing you all sorts of little tips and tricks that can help you experiment more. So I hope that you guys have enjoyed watching this video. Thanks very much to the dude that requested me to show how this sound was made, because I'm looking for ideas for the generation of content. So if anybody wants me to cover anything, please shout out. I will appreciate it. It'll give me heaps of things to do in the next few weeks. So thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.